Hey everybody, I am heading south on the 61. Just left Dubuque, Iowa. Got about an hour's drive home to Davenport. And I was up here in Dubuque this morning to do some Project 1019 work. If you're not familiar with Project 1019, it is my effort to reach the law enforcement community with the gospel. I stand outside of police stations holding a sign that says Law Enforcement Lives Matter. And on that sign there's also a couple of passages of scripture, Romans 13, 1-5, and then all of Acts chapter 10, both in a sense law enforcement related. And then the bottom of the sign has crossencountersmen.com. And so I will stand outside of police stations and hold that sign out so that passing motorists and pedestrians can see it. I'll distribute one kind of tract to civilians, and then Police Lives Matter tract to those in law enforcement that I might meet. This morning I decided to hand out, in addition to the Police Lives Matter gospel tract, my booklet that I wrote, which is also the first chapter in my book, Cross Encounters, A Decade of Gospel Conversations. Marv Plementosh and I have published the first chapter of that book as a standalone booklet called The Burglar. And so I took 10 copies of that booklet with me. I thought that if I gave 10 of those away, that would be a really good day, because when I spend an hour or two outside of a police station, I rarely run into that many officers. But as the Lord would have it, today I spent 3 hours outside of the Dubuque Law Enforcement Center, which is the home of both the Dubuque Police Department and the Dubuque County Sheriff's Office. And I was able to hand out all 10 of those booklets to officers. In fact, I ran out earlier than I thought I would. And so there were several other officers who, while they didn't receive the booklet, received the Police Lives Matter gospel tract. It poured for the first hour I was out there, but I was well prepared. Had a big golf-size umbrella with me and was able to hold that and the sign at the same time. After about an hour and a half in front of the station, I decided to move to the back side of the station, hoping for a little more vehicle traffic. I was able to give the booklet out to a couple of officers in the front of the station, but there wasn't that much traffic in front of the station. So after about an hour and a half, I moved to the street that the back of the station is on, and had a lot more interaction there, a lot more interaction with officers, a lot more motorists on that street, a lot more pedestrians walking by, and so the time was really productive. When I first went from the front of the station to the back of the station, I looked back to the front of the station, and sure enough, 2 officers had come out of the front of the station to get into a patrol car, and I thought, way to go, Tony. But the Lord did not disappoint in any way, and I had plenty of interaction with officers. In fact, one officer by the name of Dane, I had handed him the booklet and the tract as he pulled into the station, and as he was walking into the station. Well, he came back out of the station, got back into his patrol car, and as he was coming out of the parking lot, he stopped and he looked at me and he said, "So you're Tony?" And because my name is on the booklet, and I said, "Yes, sir, I am." And I guess he read the bio on the back of the book, and he said, "So you did 20 years in LA County?" And that started a very nice 5 to 10 minute conversation there at his patrol car, talking about the job and what have you. And so I'm pretty confident Dane's going to read that booklet, so I'm very happy about that. All of the officers were very friendly and very appreciative, as is the case in every place I've been so far, whether California or now in Iowa. the majority of motorists and pedestrians who see the sign, if they do react, are very positive. Either a wave or a thumbs up or a friendly honk of the horn. I think I just had one lady today shake her head in disgust. But other than that, everything was positive. In fact, a couple of the officers asked, is anyone giving you a hard time, or what's the response like? And so I was able to encourage them by letting them know that the response outside their station was overwhelmingly positive. Well, I had decided I was going to stay about 3 hours or so. Wanted to put a lot of time in since I'm not going to get up to Dubuque every day. And as I was getting close to my time to leave, I noticed a good 200 yards down the street from me, and across the street, there was a young woman with a very large camera on a tripod pointing in my direction. And after a few minutes standing there filming in my direction, she moved to my side of the street and walked close enough to be at about the front door, or the back door rather, of the police station. And there she started filming me again. And so I figured, well, this woman's going to contact me at some point, and she did. Her name is Allison, and she is an intern for one of the local television stations in Dubuque. And she was interested in what I was doing, wanted to get some footage, and then wanted to conduct an interview with me. So before we started the interview, I asked her, so did someone call? Why are you out here? And she said, no, I was in the courthouse, and the courthouse was directly across the street from the police station. She said, I was in the courthouse working another story, and I came out and I saw you standing here, and so I went back to the station, got my gear, and came back because what you were doing was interesting to me. And so we had probably about a five-minute interview or so. Was able to lift up the name of Christ, explain that while I was out there to support law enforcement and encourage the community to do the same, my primary reason for being there was to get the gospel into the hands of police officers. And so I don't know what's going to happen with that. Again, she's an intern and not a bona fide reporter with the station, so have no idea if that is going to be a story on the news tonight or in the future, don't know. But I was able to put a gospel tract in her hand, and I said, here, for context, this is what I'm handing out to the officers, and gave her a Police Lives Matter gospel tract and my last copy of The Burglar. And so she got 3 pieces of gospel literature in her hand. She was very, very personable, very friendly. I think her internship ends soon, and she's hoping to be hired on as a reporter. So her name was Allison. And so it was a wonderful, wonderful time of ministry there at the Dubuque Law Enforcement Center. So I hope you'll join me in praying for Allison and Dane and the other civilians and officers and civilian employees who received the gospel, and probably a couple of hundred people or so, motorists who saw the sign as they were driving by. Pray that God's elect was numbered among those I had contact with today, and that He would use my simple effort out there on the street as a means of bringing the gospel and saving those whom He is determined to save. So that's it. That was my day, my morning at Dubuque PD, and now I've got about an hour before I get home to do some sign evangelism on my own streets back in Davenport. So God bless. Have a great day.